Trump is now in office, but why is Tesla stock down? Why, Pejjy? Why? Well, I did say it'll be sell the news event. I did say that, and well, that's what we got. But here's the thing, it's not a big deal because it's recovering. It's already less than 2% down of the day from being down almost 5%. So that is a sheesh moment. And the crazy part here is, despite that this is a sell the news event, the market doesn't seem to really care, but there is a reason why it's a red day today. Many people thought it's going to be a massive green day today, but there's a reason why it's red today, and we'll get to that in just a bit. Trump being in office, meaning that Elon is also in office running Doge by himself, no longer with Vivek. Well, Vivek apparently he pulled out, or I don't know, probably got fired within it. I don't even know what, there's a big drama going on there with that, but it's no longer Vivek and Elon, it's Elon himself. And here's the crazy part. Trump is giving him an to in the White House and 20 people under him to make robo-taxis, to deregulate for the country. Let's put it that way, to deregulate for the country so everyone can benefit. But get robo-taxis out faster. Sheesh! Elon also made a passionate speech that shocked woke people. It did. Oh man, this is just amazing. I hope you guys are ready, man. If you guys are in Tesla investors, the next 4 years, man, it's going to be absolutely fire. It's crazy. It's absolutely going to be insane. And I hope you're ready because it starts. It flippin' starts. Oh man, I'm so flippin' pumped that it's not even funny. The fact that it's a red day today and it's only down 2%. And I'm going to go into reasons why right now, right after you guys smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go. So first things first, why is the stock down? The stock went down about like 5% today, then is now covering less than 2% now at the recording of this video. Well, 3 reasons. Well, more than 3 reasons, but let's just go bit by bit. Trump, number 1, he said he's going to end all EV mandates. EV credits as well, it's going to be ended as well, but we knew that from the start, and pull from the Paris Agreement. All has to do with climate change and renewable energy, all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you why it's not that big of a deal, but these guys do contribute to why the stock is down today, despite the fact that it could just be sell the news event. There's always a reason for any of these things, but I think there's a much bigger reasons apart from this, and we'll get to that after we go through these. So first, we don't need an EV mandate, guys. Like, oh my God, here's the thing. The EV mandate, there's so many people out there that go like, oh my God, EV mandate, Tesla's going to lose a whole bunch of money and no one's going to buy EVs anymore. They're absolutely wrong because the market is already heading that way. The only thing this does is give legacy automakers, ICE auto companies, to make more gas cars because that's the only way they can profit. There is only 2 companies, EV companies, that are making a profit right now in EVs. Tesla with decent margins and BYD with very, very slim margins. These are the only 2 companies, EV companies, that are making money on EVs. The rest of them, they can't. But the problem is that when the market is already heading this way and you're going to stop or slow down your EV production and focus on gas cars, you're just speeding up your own bankruptcy because in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, not even that long, maybe 10 years from now, everybody would want an EV. It's not that the fact that you're being forced to buy an EV. You just want an EV because it's cheaper to buy, better performance, easier to maintain, and who knows, maybe there's robo-taxis at that time and scale that you don't even need a vehicle, man. So there's a lot of this stupid thing with this mandate thing, which is just really dumb. It's really dumb. I just can't get my head around it because I keep saying it, but people don't understand it. But we Tesla investors do understand it, right? Right? If you don't, well, check out this chart right here. Look at this. This is the adoption technology chart. They all adapt, whether it's a toilet, whether it's a phone, vacuum, TV, radio, landline. Well, landline's going down now because of cell phones. Washing machines, all these, just look at that. And look how quick. The more right you go, the more vertical it is, meaning that the more modern you get, the more vertical the adoption is. Guess what's happening with EVs? It's the same thing. Look at this chart. Shout out to Le Rafael. Awesome charts. Love these charts. This is Denmark. Look at the verticalness of EVs. They're projected to be 100% EVs by 2030. By even 2029. Even earlier. Maybe 2028. Norway is already pretty much all the way there. China is heading this way. Every country, if not many, just all of them, all the countries are going like this, including the United States. Now, whether there's an EV mandate or not, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't because the market is going down that way. And here's the crazy part. Tesla isn't even a car company. So if you're focused on this EV thing, you have proof that EVs, whether there's a mandate or not, whether there's an EV credit or not, whether you're being forced to buy it or not, The market is heading that way anyways. But the crazy part is Tesla isn't a car company. That's the crazy part. And again, if you're in it for the EVs, you guys probably should not be invested in Tesla because they've already done their mission back in 2019, 2020. Now it's about the robotaxis and the bots and the FSD and energy, all that kind of stuff. Those are much bigger businesses than Tesla's EV. But nonetheless, if we're talking about EV alone, EV mandate is not going to do anything. If anything, it's going to slow down legacy automakers and speed up their bankruptcy in the future. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. And following up with that, the second thing is EV credits. And I made a whole video about the EV credits, how it's beneficial for Tesla and not for everybody else. Check the video out right here, because here's the thing. Ending the mandate and the EV credit, it only tells you and proves to you that Tesla is going to be the only profitable EV. Just let that sink in for a second. Tesla is going to be the only company, not Rivian, not Lucid, not GM, not Ford, no, nobody. This really proves that, because now other legacy automakers are going to go ahead and just make gas cars because it's more profitable for them. But again, that's not where the market is heading. But when it comes to EV credit, it's going to go away. Whether it's tomorrow or next year, it's going to go away. I think it's going to take a bit longer because this has to go through Congress, and that always takes some time. I think that the earliest we'll see it when it gets revoked, maybe Q3, beginning of Q3, and the latest is a year from now. I think it'll get revoked. I think it'll take some time, but it will get revoked because Elon is with it. He's like, we don't need the EV credit. It's just free money. We don't need it. As well as Trump is saying that it's stupid, we don't need the EV credit as well. So this will get revoked for sure. But revoking these EVs only hurt legacy automakers, again, because they'll pay less attention to making EVs. They'll continue to figure out how to make EVs profitable, but now it's going to be less energy. More energy is going to be on gas cars because they can make a profit on them. But again, it's just not going to work out when the market is heading that way. Eventually, you're going to come to a market where only maybe 10, 20, 30, 40% of people that want to buy gas cars. How about the other 60%? They prefer to get EVs, good affordable EVs and good quality EVs that last for a long time and later on in the future that, drives themselves. And I do believe that in the future that if your car can't drive itself or doesn't have a feature that drives itself, you're not going to be selling that car. We're going to go to that world. Give it 5 years. Just give it 5 more years and it's going to be a sheesh flipping world. But Elon has said many times that they don't need and they prefer not to have it. Why? Because Tesla can make and sell profitable EVs while the whole industry can't. I mean, I keep saying that. I feel like a broken record, but that's what it is. With good margins too. That's what it is. Third, Trump to pull from the Paris Agreement on climate change, which includes to speed up the transition to renewables. But again, if we're talking about EVs, we're already heading that way anyways. So that's not much of a big deal. It's going to happen itself, just like how the internet did. And the whole chart, just the whole adoption chart that I showed you. That's just going to happen with EVs and eventually with renewables, because what's happening with Europe and Russia, they can't always rely on LNG and oil. They have to get into renewables, and they are. So all these are legitimate reasons, aside from sell the news event, why the stock is down today. But there's only the main thing, because here's the thing. During the first Trump's presidency, all these three was already enacted. There was no EV mandate. There is no EV credit, right? And Trump pulled away from Paris Agreement as well, but the stock performed extremely well, and we'll get to the numbers in a bit after. But there's one reason why I think the stock is down, and that's with Elon giving the Roman salute by giving his heart out, and the mainstream media reinterprets that as a Nazi symbol and going haywire with it, which is just stupid. And I believe that's what made the most shockwave. That's why the stock is down 2% now, I think. It's something that's really not related. And man, I don't know if you guys saw that. I mean, the whole flippant mainstream media is going like, oh, day one, and we already have a Nazi symbol going like this. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's just funny to see. It just shows you how dumb people are out there. You're just so dumb and just looking for clicks. It's just ridiculous. But with all that, I think a majority of that, if you just compare everything and put it in a mixing bowl, the majority of the ingredient of this downtrend or downpull, this dip today, is because it was sell the news event. That's it. And just as I predicted too, so sheesh, but not much. So that is a sheesh moment. But here's the thing, guys. When we look at Trump's first presidency, I love numbers and I think you guys will love this too. Tesla stock roared over 1,600%. And I wrote it on my X. Check this out. I wrote that past performance does not guarantee future results, which is true, but I've always said it before and I'll say it again. Tesla surged over 1,600% during the first Trump presidency. And note, guys, there was no EV credit during Trump presidency. There was no EV mandate during his presidency, and also he pulled out of the Paris Agreement as well. So the situation is pretty much the same. So if you want to talk about that, EV credits, all that kind of stuff, no, none of that. And this was at a time that if there was ever a time that Tesla needed EV credits, it was during those times, because Tesla was bleeding cash in 2017, 2016, 2018, 2019, right? If we look at the chart here, Tesla from 2017 to 2021, which was pretty much the entirety of Trump's presidency, the stock roared over 1,600%. So that was all that excluding these things. No mandate, no EV credits, and no Paris Agreement. And that was the EV story. Now we're talking about the robotaxi story, the FSD story, which Elon is trying to deregulate. So you can already imagine how crazy it's going to get. And I wrote it here that if that happens again, now I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but if that happens again at the price of $428.55, that's $6,900 per share by 2029, which is absolutely hilarious. Now, people are calling the Tesla stock to be worth $10,000 per share. Some are saying $8,000 per share by 2030. And hey, if we get robo-taxis and full self-driving, FSD licensing, forget FSD licensing, but I know that's going to be a factor too. The bots as well, man, dude, we're gonna, you know what I mean? This number is not out the question. It's not. My price target is like around the 3,000s or 3,500s, right? But that's me being rational. Tesla stock is not rational majority of the time. And when there's things coming that are not priced in the stock, it's going to roar a whole lot harder than any of us will ever think. Tesla always surges on the future. That's what the stock does. And it's been doing that time and time again. The only crazy part is that once we see the results, it's going to be a sheesh flip it moment. So now we have a second presidency. Are you ready? If not, Tesla investors, get ready. The next 4 years are going to be wild and they're going to be awesome. Just today the stock went down. Now it's pretty much recovering. If there's any massive dips, I am a buyer. I'm already all in Tesla, but man, any massive dips, anything below 400, I'm a buyer for sure. But the question is, I don't know if there's going to be these dips anymore. There will be market corrections, and I'll take advantage of those. But then when you have Elon in the White House, deregulating for the country, which will help his companies excel so much, and has a good relationship with the president and the party, and then the macro environment is getting a whole lot better, I don't know. I just don't see the next 4 years being a bad year for Tesla. I just don't see it. Maybe a black swan event happens. Maybe another pandemic. Hopefully not. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood here, but knock on wood. Another pandemic doesn't happen. Another war doesn't break out. We have to always put these into consideration as well. But if you exclude those, man, the next 4 years, man, get ready. It's gonna be absolutely a sheesh moment. And here's the crazy part. I interviewed this guy who had 60,000 Tesla shares, and he's still buying. You guys have to watch this podcast. It's absolutely insane. It's a sheesh moment. Subscribe, guys. Get your I Bought the Dip t-shirt, because if you bought it a year ago, you're the man. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.